everybody, welcome to Talk About Houses. I'm Todd.
I'm Juana.
Today we are going to teach you how to rent a house or apartment with bad credit.
Not that the apartment has bad credit, that you have bad credit.
Yeah, that you have bad credit, you want to rent a house or an apartment, and you probably have gone through this process, and we're going to teach you some stuff. If you do what we tell you, you'll be able to get a rent probably a lot easier than you currently are.
Yes.
So we're going to start with why does anybody care about credit? Why does a landlord care about credit? Like, who cares what your credit is? So Juana, why does a landlord care?
Right, so landlords care about your credit because your credit is a picture of your behavior, right? So if you have not paid your bills in the past, or you have paid your bills late in the past, you have collections, that sort of thing, that is an indication to a landlord that that may possibly happen to them. And they're looking for tenants who are going to pay their rent in full on time so the landlord can pay his bills, like his mortgage payment, his property taxes, and so on time as well. So people have bad credit because of late payments, missed payments, charged off accounts because the account was extremely delinquent.
Yep.
Collections, bankruptcy, home foreclosure, court judgments, higher maxed out credit cards, I already said court judgments, but so a lot of these things happen to people. Look, this is life, and it's not about you being a bad person. You're not a bad person because life happened to you, but at the same time, you know, this is all that the landlord has to evaluate you on, and that's how they determine who they're going to allow into their property.
Okay, so landlord only wants one thing, you to pay the rent. He just wants the rent, and he wants it paid on time.
Yes.
And if there's 3 people applying, then they're going to just take whoever they think is going to pay the rent. That's really all that they care about. They honestly don't care about anything else.
Right.
The only color they care about is green, and that's the money.
Right.
Okay? Now, so you could work on repairing your credit.
Right. So
that takes a while though.
Right.
So it's not going to help you today if you're like watching this video because tomorrow you're going to go out there and you try to move into get an apartment or house.
Right. So what you can do when you're done with this video, the first thing you should be doing is pulling your own credit. You have a right.
Free.
Right, for free. You have a right to your own credit, and you can get it from any kind of sources like Credit Karma is a great way to do it. You can go to www.annualcreditreport.com.
Yep.
There are lots of sources. You can contact Equifax, Experian, any of the credit reporting agencies. You are entitled to your credit report once a year for free.
And you have 3 of them. You have TransUnion.
Right.
You have Equifax and Experian.
Right.
Those are the 3 credit agencies. We'll put links at the bottom of the video to all these, to how to get your credit, so you can go click on it and just do it and get a copy of it, look at it and see what's it. You might have bad credit because there was something you paid, but they reported it, and you just need to call them up and go, hey, take this off, I paid it, right?
Right.
So, those are some things you can do.
Right. And then once you pull your credit and you know what went wrong, if there's something that can be fixed, like it's something that's an error, then you can go ahead and get that cleared up with the credit reporting agencies, or maybe with the creditor, or however that works in your particular situation. The other thing is building up your credit. So when you're building up your credit, you have to kind of remember the 30% rule. So the 30% rule is that your debt makes up 30% of your score. Do not use more than 30% of your credit available. So that means that if you have a $3,000 credit card, don't use more than $1,000 of the credit on the credit card. So these are really important things because we want to make sure that your credit score goes up, right?
Yep.
Stop applying for new credit cards, okay?
Yeah.
Please stop doing that, because every time you apply for a new credit card, that's a hard inquiry on your credit report, and that makes your credit score go down. If you can't get a credit card, get a secured credit card. Okay, that means that you go to the bank and you say, hey, I would like a secured credit card. You give them $500, they give you a credit card with a $500 limit. So it's kind of like a prepaid credit card.
Yeah.
But that helps you build your credit.
But the difference between a prepaid card is the $500 is on the card. It's like a debit card. When you spend the money, it gets paid.
Mm-hmm.
your prepaid card doesn't work that way. That $500 is still your money. It's just held over here in some special account, and use your card like a actual credit card.
Right.
After a year or two, what they do is they say, hey, we're going to turn your card into a regular card, and they give you your $500 back.
Right.
The reason they keep the $500 is because if you run it up to the limit and then you don't pay it, they take the money to pay it off. But you don't want to have that happen because you're having late payments.
Right. So this is a secured credit card that you want, not a prepaid credit card.
And
so remember that.
All the banks do it. Wells Fargo, Bank of America, you just go to your bank and say, I would like to get a secured card, and you can probably do it online. You can probably go log into your account and do it then.
Okay, so the next problem that people run into is evictions.
Okay, so what this means is you had evictions in the past, and that's stopping you from getting a place now.
Right.
Okay.
So generally evictions happen, of course the obvious one is you didn't pay rent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's really the most obvious ones. After that, it's things like a breach of the lease agreement, health or safety. Maybe the landlord wants to move into the rental property himself, or maybe the landlord wants to take the property off the market or wants to sell it. However that happened, but you ended up with an eviction, and that's keeping you from being able to rent a new place. Now, disputing an eviction is possible, but it is very, very difficult.
Yeah.
The best way, obviously, is to talk to your landlord and see if you can come to some sort of an agreement, and then getting that removed. Barring that, it gets more difficult. You have to prepare lots of documents, get notarized letters, go to court. It becomes much more difficult. It's not impossible, but it is really difficult.
All right. Now, this is the part you've all been waiting for.
Yes.
These are the tactics, tricks, and things you can do tomorrow with your bad credit to get in an apartment or a house.
Right.
Okay, the first one is...
Okay, so we've already told you, pull your credit report, right? You've already got a copy of your credit report. You figured out that there's nothing on there that needs to be fixed because it is right. This is a picture of your financial life. Okay, so what are you going to do? The first thing you're going to do is look at that credit report and write a letter that addresses every derogatory comment on that credit report and explain it. Look, if you made a mistake, then say that. Hey, you know what? I made a mistake. I didn't pay it. I didn't pay my credit card bill, or whatever it is that you didn't pay. Whatever mistake you made, own it. Fine. But maybe there were extenuating circumstances. Maybe you had some health problem or a death in the family, or whatever your life issue was. Explain that, okay? And then make sure that you submit your explanation of your credit report with your rental application. Whether you're applying to a property manager or to an individual, you want to make sure that they're considering your whole person, not just your credit report.
Okay, so number one was write a letter. Just write a letter explaining your credit and why it's bad. It was my ex-spouse, it was these things that happened during this time when I was out of work, but now I'm at work, and I've doing these things to fix them now, and you can accomplish a lot with the letter. Okay, the second thing you can do, go find a place that doesn't require your credit or says they're not going to pull it, meaning they're going to look at other things. So there are landlords out there, they only care about how much you earn, like what are your earnings? And their criteria is maybe if the rent's $1,000, they want to see you make $2,500, right? Or something like that. So go search for a place that says that they either don't care about your credit or they're not going to pull your credit. They're using other factors. So that way your bad credit doesn't really matter.
Right. So make sure that the landlord that you are applying to is a legitimate landlord.
Yeah.
Okay. Because sometimes you're thinking, oh, this is a great deal. They don't care about my credit, and this is going to be great. Make sure that this is a legitimate person.
Meaning that you didn't find it on Craigslist. They met you in Starbucks and said,
right.
I can't really show you the house right now, but just here's the paperwork and give me the cash, and then you just have a guy rekey it, because it probably is a scam. They probably are just renting you a place they don't own.
Right. So we're very concerned about, look, you've already had financial problems. The last thing you need is another problem. So be very careful. Make sure that you're not getting scammed. Okay, the next one is, so like we talked about private landlords. offer to pay higher rent or a higher deposit. This may seem counterintuitive that you've already had financial problems and now you're going to pay more, but that may be a good option for you. So maybe if they're asking $1,500 a month in rent, maybe you offer to pay $1,600 a month in rent. Maybe if they're asking for a $2,000 deposit, maybe you're going to give them a $3,000 deposit. But again, make sure that you're not getting scammed.
Yeah.
This is really important.
So the third one is a higher security deposit. Just put down more money. Say, look, my credit's bad. In the letter, right at the very end, I am willing to put down more money in a security deposit. It's your money. You will get it back if the place is still in a good repair. If it's still in the condition you moved into it. Okay. Now, number 4. This is another tactic that landlords love. Pay multiple months of rent up front. Now, this is different than security deposit. What you're saying is, what if I just gave you 3 months right now? So it's $1,000 a month. Here's $3,000. I'll make my next payment in 3 months. The landlord's like, hey, look, I got 3 months in my pocket right now. I don't have to collect rent for 3 months. I don't have to worry about you for 3 months. You have 3 more months to accumulate some money. Plus, they know you have cash. The last thing the landlord wants to see is your bank statement with you barely have enough to pay rent, right? If you have enough cash to pay 3 months in advance, just write that in the letter. I will pay 3 months in advance cash. I have that credit, but here I have the cash. I can just do it.
Right. So along with that comes when you're applying for your new home, you're going to want to submit proof of income. So that means that you're proving that yes, you earn enough to be able to meet this obligation, and maybe even bank statements. Make sure that you black out your bank account number, but maybe bank statements, because if you can show that over the last 2 or 3 months you've had X number of dollars in your bank account, you haven't had insufficient funds or anything like that going on, that might be something that might give the landlord some comfort.
Okay.
Something else to consider is letters of reference.
Number 5.
Okay, so letters of reference, they may seem old-fashioned, but they do carry a lot of weight with people, particularly if they are from your employer, either past or previous employer, or your current or previous landlord. If they write you a nice letter saying, hey, this person has been very responsible, they've been employed with me for 2.5 years, they're good at their job, they show a lot of responsibility, a lot of initiative, or maybe a past landlord or present landlord that you've been paying rent on time, that you keep the property clean and that you maintain it well and that sort of thing. That might also make a big difference with the landlord.
Number 6, include a copy of your bank statement and your proof of income with your rental application. Hey, look, my credit score is 580, but I have $12,000 in my account. I've had it for 3 months. I can make the $1,000 a month rent, every month without a problem, because I've been saving money and I have all this money. So that'll help the landlord will be like, okay, well, they've got cash. Because remember, they only care about one thing. They want their rent payment every month, right? So if they can see you have some cash, that can help you too.
Right. So what number are we up to?
I think we're on number 7 now.
Number 7. Okay. So consider having a roommate. Either your roommate is already on the lease agreement and you're being added on, or you're seeking a new place to live together and your roommate has great credit, you not so much, so maybe your roommate's kind of pulling you up a little bit, and maybe a landlord would be willing to entertain that situation. That could help you get into a new place too.
Number 8, right?
Number 8.
Number 8, get a co-signer. So this is usually a relative.
Usually a relative.
That signs, and they're also financially responsible.
Right.
So what this means is it's a parent or sibling or somebody who says, look, I'll sign for you. But then if the landlord, what this means, the landlord is, if you don't pay, they can go after the co-signer and say, look, you owe this money too. It does create, it's a little harder for the landlord because now they have to go to court and say, look, they're not paying, I want the co-signer to pay, but ultimately they'll get their money. And if anything, it makes them feel better. They're just like, look, someone's willing to co-sign for you and back you, then that is going to help you get an apartment or a house.
Right, but remember that co-signer has to be in a better financial position than you are, okay?
Okay, so.
The last one. We've got this one.
Well, I'll let you do it.
Okay, so the last one is improve your credit standing before you apply for your new home.
Yeah.
I know it's hard, but it does make your life easier if you kind of get your house in order, so to speak, your financial house in order before you go finding a new place to rent.
Why this is we put this one last for a reason. This is not, it wouldn't help you tomorrow, but it could help you in 30 days, and this is why. One of the things your landlord is going to hate to see is collections. They're not going to want to see collections. You can clear those up really fast. Mm-hmm. You pay them, and then you tell them, will you please take the collection off my credit report? Like, if I pay you, will you remove the collection? And there are places that will take the collection off and say it was a mistake. Mm-hmm. Like, they paid it and we missed it, and they actually pulled it off that it was paid. So that's something that you have to do, and that'll help a lot. But a lot of times people don't care about their credit. They have too worried about life and other things happening, and then all of a sudden they get this point where they're trying to go get a new apartment, or they moved and now they realize their credit's bad and what to do. So this is something that you should work on. There's going to be a link below to the Credit Karma, freecreditreport.com, and then all 3 of the credit reporting agencies where you can go and get a copy of your credit and see what's in there.
Absolutely. And remember, having good credit isn't just going to help you as far as finding a place to live. Your car insurance will actually go down if your credit improves. Lots of things improve in your life if you can get your credit score up. Oh,
one last thing you can do. You can write a question in the comments, and we'll try to give you some real-world advice. It's not legal advice. It's just general advice. If something we didn't say in the video or something you're unclear of, put a question. Like, hey, what about this? What do you think will work? And then maybe either us or somebody else reading it will give you some advice, like something you could do that would help you out. Anything else?
That's it. Subscribe.
Subscribe. And good luck in renting that place. And thanks for watching the video.